Welcome to Three Things. Tonight's guest needs no introduction. We fuck with this dude so much, he was the first two-time guest on the From the 108 podcast. He was also the person to name My Sox Summer the face of the 108. A man who's willing to come on your show and name names. A longtime contributor for Future Sox, even though I'm not sure he could name even 4 White Sox prospects right this second. It's an honor to welcome to the stage a fellow bean counter and South Sider, Brian Bilek. Welcome to Three Things.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, guys.
What's up, man?
Not too much, just quarantining, I guess. How's everybody? When was the last time you guys were able to do a podcast together?
Oh shit! It was with.
It was March 11th. Actually, it was the 108 Tourney reveal show. Was the last time we did the podcast. Actually, the last time we hung out together, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh shit!
Wow.
Yeah, pretty sure that was the last thing.
Last time I saw you.
Now, Brian, you're looking sharp. You got the Bulls sweater and you got the Sox hat on. I do have one bone to pick with you before we get going on all of our shit here. Chirizi and I, we went to the Barstool NBA Jam event. Where the fuck were you? We were looking for you at this fucking thing at Joe's on Weed, and we're looking all around, and then even we go up in the private area with the guys. You're not there. What the fuck?
This is literally the first I've ever heard of that event. What month did they play?
That was a long time ago, back when you could still go outside.
It was, it was back when it was back well before all this stuff, and it was. We were all planning to go, and My Sox Summer ended up with a family event, and so Teresa and I went up there, and then we went, hung out at Joe's on Weed till God knows what hour. Then we went with Dave to where did we go, Teresa?
It was in Old Town.
Declan's probably.
Yeah,
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. And ran into some people, and eventually it was like, we're old guys. It's like 1:30. We should probably just like get the fuck out of here. Let the kids hang out and have fun. But
yeah,
that's awesome.
But I showed up and I'm like, where the fuck is Bilek? And Dave was like, I don't know. I thought he'd be here too.
Yeah, I mean, if it was in January or February, I'm out of commission then. So, but yeah, hopefully, we can get maybe Joe's on Weed to 1/4 capacity by June or July, and they can do it again.
All right, so this is Three Things. So that was thing number 1. We shower you with praise, and then I bust your fucking balls. Thing number 2 is you bring a question for the group.
All right, so kind of current events. It seems like there's a lot of rumors we'll have baseball. I personally think they're definitely going to get something done. People are talking about the 4th of July weekend. So I think you guys would all agree, whatever it takes to get baseball, we'll take it. But if they were to do it with because I think there's a chance they do it at home teams' parks, but if they were to do it in the Texas, Arizona, Florida layout, what would be your irrational pro and irrational con of doing it in different states and doing it in that format?
It's interesting.
All right, so a pro and a con to doing it in, let's say, Arizona or Texas or in the home parks.
In Arizona, Texas, and basically, like, if they do it in Arizona, all these pitchers' curveballs aren't going to break.
Right.
And it's going to. So my con would be the Sox young pitchers aren't able to develop as well as they would in a normal scenario, even though it is still a level playing field.
But there'd be tons of home runs, which could be a pro, right?
Exactly.
So, and it could be Arizona, Texas, or Florida. Are those our choices?
Yep.
Okay. So I'll do Florida. And so what I'll go with, I'll go pro and con in Florida. The pro is, with the amount of Cubans we have, Florida is the ultimate place for this team to be the shining star of the league, and then have the most, like, if they actually let people into the stadiums, they'd all be there to see our guys. So I think the pro would be, we got the Cuban population rocking in Florida. The con would be, Dallas Keuchel definitely looks like someone who would do crystal meth. And there's just a ton of it in Florida, just an absolute ton of it. So Dallas Keuchel, meth addict, is my con for the Florida League.
That's creative. I like that.
You want to go next, my sex number?
I'll go next because I got it in my brain, and I don't want to forget it because I could possibly still be high. I'm going to take Arizona, and I'm going to say the pro is that you have a lot of areas and places for them to go and play, obviously, because they're already used to it for the spring training. So travel won't be a huge, big issue. Guys will be like saved up and rested and ready, to go and play. And I would think not traveling and not having to play in different like climates and whatnot is probably beneficial for not being injured. So that would be the pro. The con would be they're all going to die because it's going to be like 138 degrees out there.
Exactly.
And they're wearing fucking polyester uniforms. And I mean, I know I'm a fat guy and I'm a sweaty dude just in general. So even with the flex mesh or whatever the fuck that they make the new jerseys out of, it's still fucking hot. It's not like it's like clean. So like these guys, I just, and they're not carrying a lot of water weight. So that would be the big con, that most of our team would die. So yeah, that's what I would be thinking.
At Camelback in mid-March, I'm a pasty guy, and you can get absolutely fried. There's no cover ahead. You can get absolutely, in March, you can get fried. I don't even want to know what it'd be like in August.
It's not fun. I was there for 3 years. It's not fun. It's not fun.
Yeah.
All right, for me, the irrational pro, specifically for the White Sox, is shorter season. So you're not going to play the full 162. That allows for not only more variance, which the White Sox are kind of middle of the pack, but if they get hot for a little bit, they got a really good chance. But it also hurts the opposing pitchers trying to get a book on our young players. So usually what happens with young players, they come in, if they start hitting a little bit, they'll hit for 25, 30 games or 40 games or whatever, and then pitchers start getting a little bit of a book on them. It's going to be tougher to do that in sort of the shorter season setup. And so I think the White Sox, in a kind of like a year in which we expect them to get better, almost a developmental year, could get lucky on sort of a shorter runway to get into the playoffs. The irrational con for me is if teams start managing their team like they do in the short series, and like if the Tampa Rays start recycling bullpen arms like a motherfucker, and they all have like these 100-mile-an-hour pitchers going, and they're shorting up starts, and like you're going to get your ass kicked a lot because you're not prepared to be like in those short series situations. And so some of the better teams are lined up for this a little bit better, and they know how to play that. If we're truncated here, they've got a better shot at it, better manager, et cetera. Not that I'm shitting on my guy Ricky. I love Ricky, but I don't know if Ricky's ready to be managing where you got to win every single goddamn game.
Yeah.
Brian, what do you got?
I don't know if it was Beef or Treasy. One of you had an article saying the Sox would be poorly set up for a shortened season.
So I did both, actually. I wrote why they'd be set up well and why they'd be set up poorly. But it was way easier to write why they'd be set up poorly, to be totally honest. And like one of the big things to me is that the Twins are built for a short season more than any team in our division, and they're better than us already. So playing the old-ass Twins when they don't have to worry about being hurt and they have extra time for Rich Hill to be healthy, not good.
Yeah. No, that's a good point, and I like Beef's point too with our 40-man roster, because if they're really going to bring up some new 40-man roster type thing where you roll with 25 active, the Sox are going to have the Rutherfords, the Basabis, all these guys they're just kind of a glimmer of hope at this point. They're not going to help in a shortened season where the Yankees or the Rays might have just arms that would be ready in case of injury. So I think Jake stole my one con with people dying in Arizona. That's a legitimate concern. And I kind of spoke to the curve balls and the breaking balls not working. But my pro, if the season started as normal, the Sox would just be, Southside team nobody cares about, whatever. Maybe if the summer when things went well, they'd be on the news. Now, in a shortened season, everyone's going to be watching baseball. Everyone's going to care. And the Sox are like the youngest, hottest, coolest team. I think this will bring a bunch of eyes to the Sox, and we're going to get in that territory where, since everybody's so young and likable, will be a lot of younger kids, like second team. Where they got their hometown team, and then if that doesn't go well, they got the Sox.
That's a good point.
Side chick central.
Yeah, for sure.
Not that it's a popularity contest.
Side chick Sox.
Jimenez, Robert, like those guys,
Moncada, they're all young and good looking. And yeah, right. And Tim Anderson, like they got a good
and charismatic. That's the
charismatic
is key. Yeah. Is key. Like people are gonna like them, and yeah, I could definitely see people thinking about them the way I think about the Oakland A's of the '80s, right? Like I grew up loving that team, and like all the steroids and the home runs and the stolen bases, it's fucking beautiful. And
it's kind of like it's kind of like if you got a West Coast NBA team that you stay up and watch them and they're exciting and they score a bunch of, maybe it's like the Rockets or somebody like that, where it's not your main team. Yeah, yeah, exactly. The Trailblazers. You got Dame there and all those guys. Like you got a fun team that scores a bunch of points. It's like, oh, okay, I'm going to put an eye on them when my guys aren't going. And I totally see that, man. That's an excellent point. Absolutely.
I mean, you guys bet a little bit. The Trailblazers, you watch them. If you're ever down 10 points in the first quarter, just take the +7, take the +8 in live betting. They'll cover. They get it done every time.
Cover right back. All right. So thing 3 is my question. I consider it a bit of a tough question, so I'm going to ask it, and then I'm going to go first to give you guys a chance to marinate on it. So, and I had written this up a while ago. I just put a list of 3 things, questions together that I'm like, I'll use. And then when I was looking through, I'm like, I was trying to match up guests to questions. I just thought of you with this question. I'm not sure why, Brian, but here
I'm excited.
What influential piece of art, meaning book, album, movie, TV show, painting, whatever the fuck, has most shaped your baseball fandom, your current baseball fandom? And for me, I'll go first. And it is a book. And it's this book right here called Fortune's Formula. And it has nothing to do with baseball. It's a book that my father-in-law gave me, and it actually has to do with Ed Thorpe and Claude Shannon and Bell Labs, and it's got some Michael Milken in there, and it's got advantage blackjack play and options trading and all that sort of thing. But what it did was it reinvigorated my excitement with and my interest in numbers. And baseball is so flush with numbers, and it really got me interested in analyzing the game again. And while I had continued to be a casual Sox fan all that time, I really got reinvigorated with that book and thinking more deeply about baseball and playing more fantasy baseball. And then eventually kind of what we do with the blog, where I try to do more analysis and try to like bring some of those things in. So it's stuff I was always interested in. Like I've always been interested in gambling and poker and all this stuff, but it just sort of married all that shit together and really, really brought it home for me. And it really brought the Sox. I've always been a Sox fan and Bears and Bulls, but it really brought the Sox back up to the front for me after I read it, after I delved back into, baseball numbers, and really had reinvigorated my love affair with the White Sox. So do any of you have similar or something completely off the wall that's different from that, but a piece of art that you tie directly to your baseball fan?
I'll take it.
Go for it.
If nobody else is going, you said piece of art, and I don't have something that like physical. I think that you can hold. I think that I got mostly into baseball in like 2000 in Arizona, and I've said this before, but watching Randy Johnson and Curt Schilling go against Kerry Wood and Mark Pryor. and just watching stellar pitching. And I think today's the anniversary of Kerry Wood's 20 strikeout game. And I remember watching that in college and just going, that is just like masterful. Like the home run shit was really cool too.
Right.
To watch a guy crush balls and shit, but to watch a guy just plow through 20 guys and just strike them out, I mean, that's like amazing, and more amazing to me, just the sheer will to like do that. So the reconnecting with it probably would be that series. As far as the Sox, I mean the Arizona series against the Cubs, but with the Sox, when I moved to California, I could finally go and see the Sox in like 2003, 2004. That was a way to reconnect with my dad and back home and have something to talk about. The 2005 series and then subsequent series after that, or the season and then subsequent seasons after that, there was a lot of talk, and you were watching games and you were doing this because you were excited again to actually watch baseball. So yeah, that's probably that's how I would say it got me back into it. And then when I moved into back to the city, and then Bridgeport was number one on the list. So it was like, I want to be close and I want to go over the games and watch games. So living the dream. Can't go there now, but living the dream.
I'm struggling with this one. I mean, art. I'm not a very artsy person. I guess, to be honest with you guys, and this is the honest to God truth, the last book that I've read cover to cover was in 7th grade. I read Jose Canseco's Juiced. So, and I don't know if there's a word more than 8 letters in that book. But I would probably go something more sentimental with, My Sox Summer's approach there. I mean, I watched the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I watched that probably, I don't know, it felt like 100 Sundays in a row. My grandma had dementia. She loved the city of Chicago. We'd watch it every week, but she wouldn't remember that we watched the week before. But just going to, I mean, and even that's the Cubs, they're going to Wrigley, but just, going there with your friend, I mean, that's what it's all about. It's just that simple. Baseball is really just camaraderie. It was something with my dad. I mean, I went to Cooperstown with my dad when I was in 4th grade. Like, I'll always remember that, and just kind of getting, a feel for it's so much bigger than, each and every season, where back then, the Sox would just, win 85 games and crumble to the Twins in September. So it was, I think something along the lines of what My Sox Summer said, either going to Cooperstown when I was really young and really kind of realizing how much I did love the game and the historical aspect of it, and or just, watching a movie with my grandma and just kind of, Ferris Bueller. It's a great Chicago movie if people haven't seen it. But, his friends, it seemed like he was suicidal, depressed, whatever, and they go to the Cubs game, and then all of a sudden he starts, being himself again, and he's not so sad all the time. Because I want to get back to baseball games. I mean, hopefully next year. My God.
Yeah, we'll see when that shit happens, man.
I mean, good call on the Ferris Bueller. What's funny about Ferris Bueller, if you watch it now, there's certain parts of the city that they're in, and it's like that part, like all the shit looks different in that part of the city. You're like, holy fuck, like that's like a prairie, but now it's all built. Like there's a scene where they're driving through the South Loop, and it's like there's nothing there, but now you're like, oh, there's tons of houses there now. It's very interesting to watch that.
Jeez.
So I feel like I with this background, I have to use a movie that I love. That actually, and this is another example. I watched this with my dad when I was younger. Judging by any time I bring it up, I don't think people have seen this, but there's a movie called Bingo Long, and I think it's called like The Traveling All Stars, and it's basically Billy D. Williams is the pitcher on a Negro League team, and they're treated like absolute shit, and he decides he's going to just make his own team, and they're going to go off and travel and play against other teams outside the league, just basically barnstorming. And it's a comedy. It's funny, and it's all about baseball, and it's it's a great fun movie to watch. But there's a lot of different layers to it. And like when I was a kid, I just loved it because like there's a lot of goofy shit in it. Like they throw a baseball and it explodes and things like that. But as I got older, it's a bit more complex, and like you see things that you didn't see when you were a kid. And I think that's one of the great things about a lot of the stuff that I watched with my dad as a kid. He would feel free to expose us to a lot of different types of movies. And like as we got older, like I saw different, like I remember seeing Easy Money with him when I was a kid, and like I thought it was funny because Rodney Dangerfield's just funny. And when I got older, you know, like all the drug scenes and stuff, it just make a lot more sense to me somehow. And this is a movie like that where like I understand
the scene with the scene with the neighbor sunbathing. Also, you got that even as a kid.
I got that one as a kid, but when he's talking to him outside and he's like, "You're talking about drugs with my kid here," and he's like, "Hey, if you got a connection in the family, stick with it." Then like that shit I didn't get till a little later, and like this is a movie like that where I didn't get a lot of the additional themes until later, but it's still like every time I watch it, it just makes me want to watch baseball like more and more. Like I just want to watch teams play for the absolute love of the game, which is what these guys are doing. They're just all they want to do is play baseball and on their own terms, and that's all they're asking for the whole fucking movie. And it makes you yearn for those kinds of days. And like it always makes me like every time I watch it, I just want to watch any baseball that's on and just watch some people just knock the shit out of the ball and like talk shit to each other and really enjoy playing the game. And so I think that's got to be my answer.
That's excellent.
Nice.
Thanks so much. That's it. That's three things. Brian, thanks so much for joining us. We hope next time we can meet up. It won't be virtual. We can get together, talk some shit in the stadium, and enjoy a White Sox winner. What the fuck?
Hey, before you go.
Oh shit.
I noted. I remember sending out your 108 gear, and I thought you'd be wearing it tonight because you're going to take one for the team and actually put it on. But I figured you would, right?
There it is.
I lost track of time when we were starting. I was gonna put it on. Like my girlfriend was checking me. She's like, "You're gonna wear that tonight, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll wear it."
Now she ordered it for you too.
I know, but how did you know she was my girlfriend?
Because
you wrote a note. You said you're the greatest girlfriend, and I'm like, "Oh, he probably says that to all the girls." And, and she's like, "No, he knows."
No, the name looked familiar for some reason. And I was like, huh. And so I Googled it. I Googled her name. And then the picture pops up and it's you and her together. And I was like, oh, yeah, the incredibly too hot girlfriend that Brian has. Yeah, okay, I get it. Yeah. I was just, and we were talking pre this. I sent you the Wally card, right? The autograph one, or was that a gift from before?
No, that was from you.
Okay, so were you going through stuff in quarantine to throw shit away, or were you like, I need to slab this in plastic and keep it away from it ever getting thrown away?
Well, no, I mean basically what you said. So I've been super busy with work basically from January 1st till Tuesday. And so I'm on vacation this week. I was supposed to be out in California. I was supposed to fly out to San Francisco today to see the Sox play in San Francisco this weekend.
Yeah.
And then me and my incredibly hot girlfriend, we're going to go to California or to LA and San Diego to see the Sox play in San Diego as well. But instead I'm on a staycation, as they're calling it at work. But I'm cleaning up my room, trying to get everything back to some semblance of normal. And then I got my Wally card. But I put that, I had to pull up like my old binder you got like your priority baseball cards. Like I've got my Barry Bonds, my Ken Griffey, the Mark McGuire with Hank Aaron, the real good ones up for Wally right up there. The big unit. He's right between the big unit and Pedro and Ken Griffey Jr. So Wally's got a special place in my heart.
He's the Mexican Mandingo. He needs to be right next to the big unit. So he's always telling us that.
How is he doing in this coronavirus? He can't keep his hands, anywhere. I feel like he's probably struggling with all these new regulations.
Dude, his hair is ridiculous.
It is.
That's
is
the
he
thing.
growing out?
He can't keep that shit all together.
It's
like
poofing up.
Yeah, we saw him not too long ago. He's just got a big ass.
But the hairline?
Oh, it's still perfect.
It's right there.
Right
it's like a millimeter above his eyebrows. Yeah, it's right there.
he's got the 80 grade hairline. No, but I was so impressed. I was impressed, but also like confused because it was my birthday, March 31st, and my girlfriend gives me the 108 shirt, and I'm like, so there was all the free parking and the sexy Christmas card of you guys and everything.
Ooh.
And I was just like, okay, they probably did know. But I figured you just looked up her name on Twitter, and she
Pretty
probably
much.
follows you guys and then me, and it kind of made sense from there. But it's a great shirt, and she says it brings out my eyes, so it brings out the green in my eyes. So,
Wow.
It definitely does. Green is your color.
Yeah, I do like green, so she knows. But I got one bonus for you guys. So with the 3 guests today, I guess Route 66 is not running yet or anymore. If Steve, Allie, and I went across country, who would the mutiny be formed against, and how soon? Like what state? If they're starting East Coast, going West Coast, what state would they basically start plotting against me?
What state are we starting in?
What, like New Hampshire? I think it's like New Hampshire to Cali.
Okay, so let me think. New Hampshire, and then so New Hampshire is my guess.
I don't think so. I think there ends up being no plotting against, because the 3 of you all have like different skill sets that could work nicely together. I think it kind of like, I think you and Steve get into a few shouting matches potentially. No violence, because obviously you'll be killed by Steve. But otherwise, I think you'll work well together, and I think you'll make it all the way. That's my thought.
That's a very measured response, but I guess
yes.
So Steve's the man here. He's a muscular guy. He brings that to the table.
Yeah.
What are these talents that Allie and I would bring if this is like a life or death situation? Like we got to get from one side of the country to the other, and it's like we're on ration food. I mean, Steve could like chop down trees and shit. Like what are Allie and I gonna do?
She'd be good for entertainment. She could pick a playlist that I'm sure you guys would all love.
I don't know.
She's into some real good experimental hip hop. I tell you, I listened to some of it, and I was listening to it. I was thinking, oh my God, I'm fucking old, because this is like, this is what my parents probably thought when they heard like "fuck the police." They were like, "What the fuck is this?" And why is he listening to this? But she would be good at that. I think though, you would bring in like good conversation topics. As you continue to drink premium Heineken Light, you would be more interesting and bring more things to the table as a form of entertainment. And you ask the questions that are harder. They're like the thought-provoking questions, not like, "Hey, what's your favorite color?" It's like, "What fucking, talking pundit do you want to kill? Like, let's go kill them." Something like that.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. I just was making shit up. But I also think that if it came down to like somebody had to go mutiny on you, I think you and Allie could work together to take over Steve. So like she could seduce him, like, and then you can come in there and like knife him, or like you use like use a big pen and just like stab his neck like 17,000 times, like you'd see in like
I was
in
thinking with you on
a
that.
prison movie. What?
Like Steve would have his armbands or something. Like he's got to work out somehow, even if we're mobile. You know, Allie and I could take his armbands and tie him up or something when he was in a, you know, I don't know. I'm just staying open-minded.
He gets a food coma, and I don't know how friendly you are with you know, edibles, but I know Allie's totally into them. She could get some banger brownies and just knock his fucking ass out, and that could just like kind of take it, you know, take it all out too.
So this death race you guys are talking about.
Talking edibles.
This is the actual movie that got me really into baseball. This death race that is being explained right now.
Death by Bick.
You see, this is why, you know, we bring Brian onto three things, but really we need a 3-hour podcast to get into all the stuff we want to talk about together. Death scenarios.
I think we cleared 3 both times, right?
We did.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. The one I think was like close to 3.5. I mean, like easy.
The Godfather one.
Yeah. Now Sam Panayotovich did come on and almost do 4 hours with us.
That was
Which
insane.
was
amazing.
He thought we were going to kill him. I think. I thought he thought he'd be locked in my basement and then he was going to die that night. But he still made it.
I hung out with Sam plenty, and he doesn't stay in one spot for 4 hours ever. So he must really like you guys.
Well, he couldn't quite stand at the end of it anyway.
He only drank 1 bottle of Evan Williams that night, so
just one.
I could still smell the pickle juice down here in this basement. And it still has that essence down here.
But Brian, you still got him because he did almost 4 hours. You did 6.5. So I think.
Yep.
And now you're probably close to 7. So
throw another 30 on there.
Brian, thanks so much for joining us for Three Things. Appreciate it, brother. Look forward to seeing you soon.
Great to see you.
Ciao, baby.
Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks.